Hey, what's up? I'm Kat Popper. I'm a bass player, I'm Southern, and I am coming to you from my fancy home studio. So I've been on some tour buses backstage and in recording studios with some really interesting people doing the music thing over the years, and I have heard tons of stories. I had an idea to put together a book of these stories about some folks with some familiar names told by people who know and have worked with them. And I've had so much fun listening to them. I thought it would be fun for us all to hear them together and hang out and see whatever people and hang out and see whatever else people want to talk about. And I got my occasional co-host, Joe Hudak, who is an editor, guy, writer at Rolling Stone.
That's as good as you'll get right there.
And my producer, Brian Bevito, who helps out with tech stuff and gives me moral support.
This is bad. And also, like lighting. I mean, all the lighting's not good. Everything's bad.
So my first guest is my pal, Tommy Stinson, bassist and guitarist, who agreed to do the show the night before because Jonny Twobags from Social Distortion bailed. More on that later. Anyway, Tommy was a founding member of The Replacements, which is, if you don't know, a seminal band that sort of bridged the gap, of like punk and, alternative music. And, they influenced everybody. They influenced the Foo Fighters and Green Day and Wilco, tons of folks. They're known for some choices they made on and off stage. But I love them for their music and songwriting, and I do love Tommy. And also, Tommy was my biggest crush when I was 15. After the band broke up, Tommy toured with Guns N' Roses and Soul Asylum, and he has his own bands under the names of Bash and Pop and Cowboys in the Campfire. I did get to play with Bash and Pop for a minute, so there's some, full disclosure. Anyway, thank you for watching and being a part of history with us.
All right, let's do this before it all falls apart. Can you see me? You good? Does that work? Does that work?
Look hot.
Okay, good enough. Let's do it.
Okay. So
what are we doing? What are we doing, people?
Excuse me. Thank you. So, Tommy, this is Joe Hudak.
What's up, Tommy?
Hey, Joe.
He's what are you, editor guy at Rolling Stone?
I am. But for the purposes of this podcast, I am just your sideman.
Anyway, the idea behind this is our first one, okay? A while back, I told you we're like me and Joe are putting together this book, right?
Doing a book.
We're after some anecdotes and also, whatever you want to say about what you're doing. Like, I don't fucking know. I really want the anecdotes because I know everything about you. I've known you for a long time.
The Lars one's pretty. I mean, now it's pretty monumentally stupid.
But those are the best kind.
It started back in the '90s when I met James Hetfield at a strip club, and he's like, Tommy, and I what? And he recognized me from running into the Replacements when we made our last. We made all Shook Down. Don't Tell Us So. We made that in Woodstock Studios and basically melted down and broke shit and fell apart and all this stuff. And so, it was really, we had a nice little chat, funny enough. And then cut 2 years down the road, I'm in Guns N' Roses and I'm in Europe and I'm in Germany, actually, in fact. And
real quick, tell everybody how long you played in Guns N' Roses.
Do you really want to know?
I
was in there. I was in there like 15 years, like longer than either band I was noted for. We're playing this gig, and James was talking to Axl about meeting me in the studio and tells him his anecdote about the Replacements and me. You hear Axl laughing in one room, and you see Lars in the other room drinking Jägermeister with Dizzy. And at the end of the show, we come back, and I guess I don't know what happened between the time we went on and the time we got up, but Lars was a mess. But he came back and he was really hammered. He was like in a really bad shape. But our buddy our buddy was opening that night.
Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian was opening the show, and he had a thing with Lars, I guess, some kind of thing.
There was some beefs.
They had some issues, we should say.
Okay.
But anyway, they're carting Lars out of the backstage area, and you hear Sebastian Bach going, "Exit Lars," and he's following him out the back door of the whole festival. He's following him out of the back door into his waiting limo, singing that to him at the time. And you got on one side, you got Axl laughing his ass off. The other side, you got all of us going, "We don't know these guys very well. It's like weird." And James was kind of standing there, just kind of. But Sebastian saved the day by just being all Sebastian all day. That particular moment. We've all seen funny, goofy crap, but that was I guess Kat's favorite.
And I'm a big Sebastian Bach fan for what it's worth. I think he's just like a walking cartoon character, and it's the coolest thing. I could just see him, you know? He's like 9 feet tall, and Lars is like 4 feet tall. So that must have been hilarious to see those two next to each other.
Yeah, I mean,
that story, and when you said everybody was sitting around kind of feeling awkward because they didn't know what was going on. Now, had that been a replacements moment, y'all never felt awkward, did you?
No, we were, that's kind of the good, bad, and ugly of it with the Mats. I mean, we were kind of comfortable with the fact that we were just total fuck ups.
Well, why do you think people like love that lore so much?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like, any other drug-induced rock and roll legend lore, what have you. It's part of the story. And in our case, as I look back, we were 4 broken young men, total socially inept, awkward, out of our minds. And, the one good thing is it saved all of us. I mean, I don't know what would have become of any of us. I mean, I know where I was headed before my brother showed me how to play bass. That I was a criminally minded kid. I'd already been to jail 3 times at 10 and for shoplifting and bullshit. And my next stop, if Bob hadn't shown me how to play bass, I was going to keep going because I had nothing in my vision that was like pulling me one way or the other, except stealing bikes and running away from home. And when you're using it and shit like that, it's, and you don't really know any better and you kind of don't give a fuck. I mean, that the part of the thing of when you get down in that mindset of, alcohol and drugs and stuff like that, you just stop giving a shit and then just get slammed by the reality of, oh, I fucked up. I mean, and there's a long waiting period sometimes for that between the fuck up move and the fucking getting your ass handed to you.
So does this mean that maybe you don't get fucked up anymore?
I'm 3 years sober from the booze, dude. Come on now, you got me there, Kat. You're big help and all that nonsense. Right. Kat, you saw me. I mean, you guys. That's why you guys called it out. But I tried to, sober up before I went on the road with that disastrous Lemonheads tour, which just about killed me. That one, good Lord. And that he's still out there, hanging out. So it's a blessing for him. But whoa, ouch.
Are there any other stories from that tour that might be funny or charming?
Not one.
Not one. Fair. Yeah. You told me a lot of anecdotes we don't have to go into, but if you...
Yeah. I kind of gave you my best one. I mean, I got to be honest about the GNR stuff. Like when I stopped, touring with them and stuff like that, I had to kind of reflect a little bit and just go like, man, that was actually a really good gig. And I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot from, helping to corral such a big group of people together to try and work together, even though we all came from completely different backgrounds.
I saw a bunch of those shows, and you are exactly right. I cannot imagine a more diverse group of musicians behind Axl on that stage.
And I think for the most part, we had a really fun, interesting run. It's just a lot of work that, it's not, I don't have anything bad to say about Axel. I mean, I've got funny stories, but they're not, there's nothing bad. I love the guy, he's always been good to me, but
he's one of the last reclusive rock stars, and you got to love it. In a world where everyone puts every little thing on fucking social media, it's amazing that we still don't know much about him.
I kind of see down the road, Axel coming out some point, just going, yeah, okay, whatever. And, and just kind of giving his take on things. He can be a really funny fucking guy. There's heaviness that goes along with it when you are a spokesperson of the Times, because everyone wants to think you're this crazy thing. And that's kind of what sells the tickets in a way.
It's what keeps the mystery there.
When I was 13, I thought that we were going to get married, me and you.
Wow. Damn.
No, I was like, he's so cute. And I was a bass player, And,
well, remember when we first met at that fucking, that bridge festival thing?
So the Bridge School concert was an annual event in California that benefited impaired children. It was put on by Peggy and Neil Young. And the night before the show, they invited everyone, band and crew over to their house for a barbecue. So it was like 80 crew and band, everybody hanging out in the kitchen, rifling through their records. And at one point, I was waiting in line to pee, and Neil just rolls up on me and he goes, "Hey, Kat, come use my bathroom. There's nobody in line there." And he takes me into his bedroom and into their master bathroom, right? So I'm in there trying to pee, and I'm thinking, what if he's like waiting outside? So I was super pee shy and I couldn't pee, but I remember looking at all the photos in there. It was a museum. There was some cool stuff in there, but it was a very good vibe. So anyway, back to the jam. Bridge School, that where we met, it's Neil Young's event that he would put on every year. Peggy, his wife, put it on, actually. Oh, no, it was with Jack White.
Yeah.
And we had a trailer, and there was a little connecting hallway to the Guns N' Roses crew, and we shared a bathroom. And I never once was able to get into that bathroom, is all I'll say.
Did they give you a little, porta potty urinal thingy?
Well, no, the door was always locked, and there were several chaps in there at a time because I could hear through the door. So I banged on the door a few times.
Fixing their hair, probably, because we weren't doing blow or anything back then. But
Guns N' Roses played that?
We played
Axel, they started Welcome to the Jungle, and he turned around and he did a sweeping thing of all the kids, and he said, "You're gonna die!"
So wait a minute, this was an acoustic thing?
Yeah, we did fucking Welcome to the Jungle kind of acoustic.
Has this ever been told? Like I follow that band intently. No one ever had video of that, really? I don't ever remember.
It's out there.
All right.
It's out there.
So
what happened to Jonny Twobags? How'd I get here?
So this motherfucker, Johnny bailed, and I said, "You have to fix this. You have 1 hour to find somebody else."
Wait, you put it on Johnny?
Oh, yeah. Of course. He was doing a session with Mike Watt and Adam Willard, and I was like, well, fair, first of all, but second of all, fix it. So he sat down and he called a few people, and then he got somebody.
You think they're in the studio right now? Right? I don't remember. But yeah. You calling him? You calling him?
See if it works.
Tell him to get Mike Watt on the phone. Get Mike on the phone.
Can you hear? What's up, Johnny? How you doing?
You're on speakerphone.
With who?
With Ron Emory.
So I've never met Ron Emory, but he is a SoCal guitarist who was in the punk band TSOL and a bunch of other great bands. But I refuse to say any more about him or draw any more pictures of him until he agrees to come on the show. Oh, hi. Well, we're doing our podcast, but we got Tommy Stinson, and we just wanted you to know that, we miss you, but
we understand.
We're on the air.
We're on the air. Yeah. Well, you guys are getting set up for your session, right?
We're on the freeway.
Oh, you're on the freeway. Okay. So do you really have a recording session, or are you just going surfing or something?
He said yesterday. funny. It's not there right now. That's the term. Social distortion, Catholic grand show.
Gnarly.
Wait, no, tell it, Johnny.
So Chris Morris was at the when the Mats came to LA for the first time. Played 4 shows in Hollywood or in LA. I think he said the Music Machine, the Roxy, and then 2 nights at the Cafe.
And did you say also that was Thanksgiving, right?
So, anyways, the story that Chris told me, but is so amazing, is that they played their entire set, every song, as slow as possible to fuck with the punkers. That's great.
There were 3 guys. There were 3 punk rock kids, right? They can't hear me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll finish my story and you guys can figure it out later. But at the end of my story, just tell them I'm going to finish the story.
Tell his story no matter what.
We ended up facing down, and Paul right there with the skinhead and another kid with a mohawk right in his face, saying the whole set right to him. By the end of the show, we had him. They totally had respect and was cool. We hung. He stuck it out and
there were 3 dicks
great.
in the front row that were like staring Paul down.
There wasn't front row. There were the only 3 guys sitting there watching us play. Period.
But you heard what Johnny said was that you guys did your songs at like half speed.
Yeah, we were full from fucking Thanksgiving dinner. We couldn't play.
He said they were full from Thanksgiving dinner, Johnny.
Perfect. I love it.
So, Kat, tell
I was supposed to tell you to tell Mike Watt
I love him,
that
and to call me sometime. I'd love to chat with him,
and to never call him again.
Dick.
And also, Tommy is 3 years sober. By the way, did you know that?
Congratulations, dude! That's amazing.
I had my last drink 3 years ago.
Which time you got here? About 26 for me. Yeah, 37 for me. 37 for me.
These dudes are old and sober is what I'm relaying to you.
Cool. Congrats.
I'm a huge fan. This is Ron Emory speaking. Huge fan of Fashion Pop and Perfect.
Well, thank you, buddy.
Favorite records ever.
He says, "Stop talking to him."
That's not what I said.
He says, "Thank you." No. He says, "Thank you." He said, "Do not address me." No, he said, "Thank you very much."
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You
give
guys
him my
have
number.
fun, and thank you, Johnny, for nothing.
For absolutely fucking nothing.
Well, you
All right, Kat. Let's talk soon.
Okay, and be safe out there.
Love you.
Love you. Bye. Okay.
That was really awesome. I have to tell you, that was a master stroke right there, Kat.
It's the craziest thing. People pick up the phone when I call, including Tommy. Tommy doesn't answer his phone for any reason. I couldn't believe. I was like, "Can you pick up?" And he did last night. You know
what I got to figure out next today? I'll leave you with this. I got a call from Dave Perner the other night, asking me if I could fill in for a show in Mexico City this weekend. And I just got home, and I'm thinking, and so I'm like going, well, I don't know if I could whip up a 90-minute set right now. I'm only going to have a day to do it. So here's the thing, Kat. Do I challenge myself to see if I can do it? Because I'm in that mode of like, let me see if I can pull this off and make something of it. Or do I go, that's a lot of fucking work right now. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm walking in. What do you think?
I have 3 things. Okay. First of all, take care of your body, first and foremost. If you're feeling up for it, do it. And third of all, they called me first. Well, first of all, you're wearing like puka shells or belly dancing shit or something around your wrist. Will you take it off? What is that noise? What is that fucking... Oh,
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know. It might be that I'm in front of the window of my apartment here.
No. It rattles when you raise your hand. What is that? Is that
my watch? It's my fabulous watch.